There is a limit to our life, but to knowledge there is no limit. With what is limited to pursue after what is unlimited is a perilous thing, and when knowing this, we still seek the increase of our knowledge, the peril cannot be averted. There should not be the practice of what is good with any thought of the fame which it will bring, nor of what is evil with any approximation to the punishment which it will incur. And accordance with the central element of our nature is the regular way to preserve the body, to maintain the life, to nourish our parents, and to complete our term of years. His cook was cutting up peanuts for the ruler when Hui, whenever he applied his hand, leaned forward with his shoulder, planted his foot, and employed the pressure of his knee in the audible ripping of a sting and slicing operation of a knife. The sounds were all irregular cadence, movements, and sounds proceeded as in a dance of the mulberry forest and the blended notes of the kingshu. The ruler said, "Admirable, that your art should have become so perfect." Having finished his operation, the cook laid down his knife and replied to the remark, "What your servant loves is a method of a Dao, something in advance of any art. When I first began to cut up peanuts, I saw nothing but an entire carcass. After 3 years I ceased to see it as a whole. Now I deal with it in a spirit-like manner, and do not look at it with my eyes. The use of my senses is discarded, and my spirit acts as it wills, observing the natural lines. My knife slips through the great crevices and slides through the great cavities, taking advantage of the facilities thus presented. My art avoids the membranous ligatures, and much more the great bones. A good cook changes his knife every year. It may have been injured in cutting. An ordinary cook changes his every month. It may have been broken. Now my knife has been in use for 19 years. It has cut up several thousand oxen, and yet its edge is as sharp as if it had newly come from a whetstone. There are the interstices of the joints, and the edge of the knife has no appreciable thickness. When that which is so thin enters where the interstice is, how easily it moves along. The blade has more than room enough. Nevertheless, whenever I come to a complicated joint, and see that there will be some difficulty, I proceed anxiously and with caution, not allowing my eyes to wander from a place, and moving my hand slowly. Then by a very slight movement of a knife, the part is quickly separated, and drops like a cloud of earth to the ground. Then standing up with the knife in my hand, I look all round and in a leisurely manner, with an air of satisfaction wipe it clean, and put it in its sheath. The ruler Wan Hui said, "Excellent! I have heard the words of my cook, and learned from them the nourishment of our life." Wan Gongwen Shun saw a master of the left. He was startled and said, "What sort of man is this? How is it he has but 1 foot? Is it from heaven, or from man?" Then he added, "It must be from heaven, and not from man. Heaven's making of this man caused him to have but 1 foot. In the person of man, each foot has its marrow, by design. Know that his peculiarity is from heaven, and not from man. A pheasant of the marshes has to take 10 steps to pick up a mouthful of food, and 30 steps to get a drink, but it does not seek to be nourished in a cup. Though its spirit would there enjoy royal abundance, it does not think such confinement good." When Lao Dan died, King Shi went to condole with his son, but after crying out 3 times, he came out. The disciples said to him, "Were you not a friend of the master?" "I was," he replied, and they said, "Is it proper then to offer your condolences merely as you have done?" He said, "It is. At first it thought he was a man of men, and now it do not think so. When entered a little ago and expressed my condolences, there were the old men whiling as if they had lost a son, and the young men whiling as if they had lost their mother. In his attracting and uniting them to himself in such a way, there must have been that which made them involuntarily expressed their words of condolence, and involuntarily wail, as they were doing, and this was a hiding from himself of his heavenly nature, and an excessive indulgence of his human feelings, a forgetting of what he had received in being born, what the ancients called a punishment due to neglecting a heavenly nature. When a master came, it was at a proper time. When he went away, it was a simple sequence of his coming, quiet acquiescence in what happens at its proper time, and quietly submitting to its ceasing, afford no occasion for grief or for joy. The ancients described death as a loosening of the cord on which God suspended the life. What we can point to are the faggots that have been consumed, but a fire is transmitted elsewhere, and we know not that it is over and ended.